Welcome to Chapter 5, Tactical Planning and Execution. Our chapter learning objectives: what is a social media marketing tactical plan and how does it support the execution of a social media marketing strategy? Number 2, how does a content plan relate to experience strategies? What are the elements included in the content plan? Number 3, how do social media marketers ensure the content developed for social media remain consistent with the brand style and personality in other communications media? Number 4, what is a content calendar and what should be considered in developing the calendar? Number 5, how do social media teams manage the roles, tasks, and schedules related to executing social media tactics? Let's take a step back very quickly. Strategy versus tactics. So from Chapter 4, we get the strategic planning definition. Planning is the process of identifying objectives to accomplish, deciding how to accomplish those objectives, implementing the actions that make the plan come to life, and measuring how well the plan met the objectives. But in the middle there, you've got social media tactics are the actions taken to execute the social media strategy. The tactics will guide the brand's activities in the zones of social media marketing. So tactics, she has broken out in this particular textbook as its own chapter. Tactics give your plan life. They bring it all to life. However, I am going to caution you. She veers into the territory of getting too down in the weeds for me. She also begins to talk about vehicles and calling them channels, and I just think it's a little bit confusing. So if you get confused, be sure you reach out to me, but just understand that at the core, I just want you to understand what strategic planning is and then where tactics come into play. Tactics are the things that are fun, that bring your plan to life. They're actually making the plan happen, whereas planning is just that. It's creating the framework so that you can execute the plan via the tactics. I really like this table 5.1 mapping objectives. This is going to be a good reference for you when you begin to create your final project. Questions answered with tactical planning: the why, the who, the where, the what, and the how. Why? You want to create value-driven social media marketing. The who, understanding and honoring your target audience. The where, this is the channel plan, and you'll note previous chapters referred to channels as vehicles, and I've got an unhappy face here. It makes me very unhappy to call one thing by multiple names, especially for those of you who have never had a social media or social media marketing or marketing course before. What is the design experience and how is the actual content plan? Those are the things that we answer with our tactical plan. Your content plan marries with your experience design in determining the type of tactic, the content type, and the content strategy. The who is answered by your good old persona. We already worked on that, and you are working on developing your persona planner or your buyer persona, whatever you want to call it. And again, I don't like when I'm teaching a course to not call things by a single name, but there you go. This is the state of our industry. The what are the elements of the social media experience? Again, the type of tactic, the content type, and the content strategy. Those are all defined in the experience strategy. The what, the 5.2, I'm sorry, table 5.2 characteristics of effective tactics. This is also going to be a good resource for you in developing your own plan. What do you want to achieve? Do you want it to be interactive, participatory, shareable, authentic, value-driven, purpose-driven? All of these questions help you to determine what kinds of tactics that you choose to include in your plan. Your brand style guide is incredibly important. Social media marketers ensure the content developed for social media remain consistent with the brand's style and personality in other communications media by referring to the brand style guide. The style guide, sometimes called a brand identity guide, will ensure that the brand standards are followed. The voice and tone of social media communications should be consistent with the brand persona, and I have some materials in Blackboard that discusses brand persona. Publishing standards are also helpful to have. The content strategy will likely also include standards for content that ensure everything published and promoted for social media marketing is optimized for effectiveness. These include such things as guidelines for title or headline word count, preferred headline words, types of preferred interactivity, links, and thumbnails are all good standards to think about. So this is a handy quiz for content development. I really like it. It always starts with, what can you offer that matters to your target audience? If you're not answering that question, you are probably missing the point. It's all about your target audience. You may have something that you want to share with them, but you need to make sure that you offer it in a manner that matters to them. What can you create that is truly different from that offered by your competition? What can be created that is synergistic with brand position and overall marketing strategy? What do we need to say? What content types will be desirable for the target audience? Which channels are used by the target audience? Those technographics. And what resources, brand assets do we already have? Good questions to ask before you begin. Content atomization repurposes content. This is a great fundamental. Atomization, when content can be partitioned and or repackaged in several ways while still remaining strategically aligned. Not only is atomization an efficient way to use resources, it also provides message amplification. Having related but distinct content on different social channels increases the likelihood that the target audience will be exposed to the message multiple times. It provides message amplification, as I said. It enhances message recall, and content may be repurposed for several related uses. Let me give you an example. So if you feel the need to shoot a full-length video, you can then take the video script, or you can take sections of that video and you can atomize it and feed it to your various social media channels so that the same message is repeated over and over and you don't have to work so hard. Repurposing content is the name of the game when we're developing pieces of content. Long form content can be broken into shorter forms. If you write an editorial, you can divide that up into smaller chunks and atomize it. What is a social media workflow? The definition is a social media workflow is a sequence of connected steps that enables the organization to act efficiently with minimal overlapping tasks and resources in order to implement the social media marketing plan effectively. It addresses, you understand the vision of what is needed to be accomplished, you assign responsibilities, you complete projects requiring different skills, and it allows you to prioritize resources. So social media workflows are very important, especially you may be a shop of one, you don't need a workflow, but if you're a shop of 100, you definitely need to have some kind of social media workflow. So figure 5.13, I wanted to make sure that I kept into this brief lecture a day in the life of a social media manager, and several of you have indicated in your intros that you already manage some kind of social media, either currently or in past lives. For reflection, I thought these were interesting. 86% of adults experience social media stress. Stress is highest among constant checkers, and for social media marketers, the always-on nature of social media equates to big stress at work. I can give you personal testimonials of this. When I ran Texas Tech University's social media, their digital and social media presence, it was a 24/7, 365 job, no doubt about it. When I left to work at the Alumni Association to do the same thing, it was a little bit less stressful, but you're certainly always on. It can be fun, but burnout rates are pretty high. There is a mini case study, Instagram trounces, Snapchat, that I want you to take a look at, and I want you to think about Snapchat was all that when it came on the scene, and it was just crushing the competition. And now Instagram basically mirrored Snapchat functionality, and now it's back on top. So I want you to take a closer look at that case study and think about why that might have happened. Recap and questions, we started out with 5. Hopefully you have answered those, and this concludes our short and sweet journey through the important information that I want you to retain from Chapter 5.